guys, it's Anna with the Dance of Evolving. I am here to continue to serve in a way that I share my journey and any new findings that I have. It's a spiritual journey to really awaken the soul and become our most divine selves, sovereign selves, through a divine calling, honestly, to be able to grow and give, a continual dance of growing and giving. And I want to hit a topic today of how to have healthy relationships. And when I say truly healthy relationships, guys, I'm going to be hitting stuff today that is far more than just surface level habits that we're talking about. And we're going to have a top 4 healthy habits for healthy relationships. And I'm probably going to have this as a 2-part video. And the first part will be the top, the first 2, because they are sequential. And I'm thinking, I wrote out the 4 steps, and I'll probably just kind of hang them. I've got a wooden little bench here, so I can even hang them on the bench. And my dog's here with me, Wizard and Stan, and so you might see them roaming around a bit. But relationships and connections, I mean, they're inevitable in our life. It's what we're here to connect, and we're here to have relationships. And relationships can get very unhealthy, and we don't even realize it. And it plays a huge part of what I talked about yesterday with our vibration and the frequency and the energy that we carry. So this is probably going to be different than what you think, the tips I'm about to give you. And I am not speaking about this through imposter syndrome. I'm speaking about this through many of my failed attempts to have healthy relationships, what I've learned through these failed attempts, and after discovering some new stuff lately, the habits that I know work. So these are proven, and I can start to see others who also have discovered this as well, and it's working for them as well. So these are guaranteed. My very first habit that I think is necessary to have healthy relationships with anyone in your life is to start a relationship with yourself. It has to happen. So I'm going to hang this here, and I'm actually going to talk about this a little bit more. Now, unfortunately, I had not started a relationship really truly with myself until last year. And what I mean by that is it's almost like a relationship between, first of all, it starts with an awareness that you are more than your body. You are a soul as part of a collective community living in a temporary body. And we are placed on this earth to go through experiences and encounters to teach us and guide us to walk through each day on this planet with true love and passion and to experience liberation, the same type of liberation that we had when we came on this earth, like when we were brought to this earth, what our soul felt then. To have this awareness and to have a relationship with yourself, the second that you experience this, it affects everything in your life. The moment we were born, we immediately were faced with things. I mean, from the second we came out of the womb, we're faced with things, and subconsciously or consciously, we either use them as lessons to continue to blossom into, an even more destined version of ourselves, or they became templates to shift our liberated soul. Then if they were not lessons to help us blossom, they became templates to shift into a more depleted version of ourselves. And unfortunately, this is what happens to a lot of us. This process is something that we are unaware of. I mean, even as children, think about it, like we don't even realize this is happening. It's before we can even form words. We take on beliefs. We take on hurt, anguish. We build up walls of protection. We're not even aware of this. And we're not even aware, even as children, that if we can learn, and this makes me think about, goodness, all those years I was a teacher, I could have been teaching children how to disarm themselves of these things that have been built up with layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, to allow that light back in, you know, that they once had at their origin, before anything blocked what is intended to be within their soul. And we take on a lot of new identities. I mean, I thought my sole purpose was there for a while to be a teacher. I'm a good daughter, you know, I'm a good spouse to whoever I'm in a relationship, you know, all through my life. And we're all those things, but we're so much more than that too. We take on new identities and also disbeliefs that don't align with our soul. And to remember that our soul is separate from our body and it's eternal. I mean, it is. And when you feel this, it's a knowing. And of course, like, it's important to take care of your body and to take pride in yourself, because I mean, your body is a vehicle that is meant to serve here and love with a divine and specific purpose that only you can create. And this is where I started to think, because I could speak as a mindset coach. Even I'm going to be real. I could speak about self-love as much as I want, but I think in the back of my head, I was like, really, how do you really love? Like, love yourself and know your true worth. This is how you know your true worth. You have a true relationship with yourself and your soul. And you know that you have a divine specific purpose that truly only you can create. And it's your one soul signature that you were brought on this planet to create. Now, if you're thinking like, well, I don't know what that is. I can't even think about that. Like, well, yeah, I've been there. And some days I still feel like I'm there, because we have let so many layers of disbelief and hurt and trauma and our ego. And what I mean by ego is it's different than our soul. Our ego is what gets in the way. It's and ego is okay. I feel like I'm also learning the balance of everything. When I talked about balance in that other video, it's to recognize our ego and to see it. It all clouds our vision. And when we don't know our specific, it's more than knowing, when we don't see within ourselves that specific divine purpose that only we can create, our soul signature on this planet, that's where we have that lack of self-worth. That's where we don't see our own value. And that's where our specific, like, genuine authenticity that we were called to carry and to offer to others in such a healthy manner with energy that only you can carry and bless others with your presence, that fades. And sometimes it can fade so far. And it's in our own mind. And we turn into a new identity who isn't even who we are. And then we think, oh, we're too far gone. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Think about how many people are experiencing this. And I'm talking through experience. I've experienced this. So let's get back on track here, because I'm about to tell you the second habit. So if we think about it, if we can gain this ability, it's your soul signature. I feel my soul different than my body. I'm not scared to age anymore. I'm not scared. It even abolishes the fear of like death, because you know that there's something so much bigger than you. If you have an ability to feel your soul separate from your body and to recognize this, and to recognize when you're out of alignment, and to forgive yourself for all of the past that used to haunt you, but know that it's part of your specific purpose and part of making you stronger and what you're about to do on this planet to help the collective community of souls all become stronger and then help them in their purpose. Layer by layer, you can break free and liberate and step into the path of origin that has already been paved for you. Okay, so you're like, all right, Anna, how does this tie into relationships? I mean, how does it not? It affects every relationship that you have. Your relationship with yourself, take that in, affects every relationship that you have. Because when you experience this, you walk into a place of love. with everything that you do. You are love. You are purpose. You don't have to go find your purpose. You are purpose. You know your worth. You give off like this authenticity, this energy, and people are like, what's that? Because only you can carry it. Because only your soul has it. It is your soul signature. It changes the trajectory of your life from that moment on. It's like the strangest feeling when you feel this separation between your soul and your body. And I'm not talking like in this hocus pocus kind of way. I'm talking in a spiritual way. Like, it's real. It's so real. And it wipes out fear. It wipes out guilt. And you know it must be a love from a divine God. And that's true spirituality. Now, I grew up in the church, and it is part of my path, and I loved every moment of it. But it is different than that, too. It's like, because a lot of it wasn't truly real. Now, some of it was, and I always knew that I felt something. But this is so different than going into a 1-hour service and going through the motions. This is a state of being. It's like who you are. I mean, it's who you are. And this state of being is more than an identity. It's like I said, you are purpose. You wake up and you know you're called to do something that day, but you don't know what. And you can go along your daily events that you know that you need to do, but you do them in such a different lens. And everyone who you are around, you know that they're blessed because you are love. And your actions are through love and compassion and your kindness, which goes into, if you're wondering, well, okay, what's the second? What is the second hint, your second habit? It's know your why. And what I mean by know your why, I'll hang that here, it's to know your why in everything you do. And if you've been hanging out with me lately, like in the 3D, the physical realm here, I've always said that. I always refer to it as your North Star. You think, okay, well, what is my why? Why am I doing this? I used to love to go out with my friends. I think it was more to stay busy, to try to quiet my mind, because I honestly don't think I wanted to deal with things. But even my why of being out changed. It was to celebrate life. It was to magnify joy. I have a group of friends, and we're like a dance fam. I mean, we go out just to magnify joy. In fact, we are getting together tonight, and I am so excited because I know we're going to be able to just look up at the moon and feel the breeze and be alive. And those connections, know your why. It makes all of your connections authentic. When you know your why and you have a good relationship with yourself and you know your purpose, because you are purpose and you are love, and you have that true love relationship with yourself, you have zero judgment with anyone. Even people who come to you who are not in a place of love, you're not really offended by them because you have worked through things that they're probably working through, and you know what, they might just be in a different chapter of their life, and maybe I just can't have the authentic connection I want to have with them right now, but that's just not who they are. They're just going through that chapter, so I'm not going to take that personal. And I've worked through this where if I am like, I'm like feeling like icky about somebody, or I'm judging, I feel like, wait, that shines a light on me. It's a constant reflection. It's like what I said, you're constantly growing, and you're dancing through these states of, I'm at a higher frequency, I'm catching myself in my older version of myself. What is that saying about me? How can I grow from this? All right, let's step back into that higher frequency, and let's continue to love and grow and give. So when I find myself judging someone, I think, okay, what does this shed light on? What disbelief have I yet to deal with? Or what hurt am I still harboring that could be keeping me from like exploding into a new realm of joy and love? And you face it and you work through it instead of taking it personal and talking about that person. And maybe you can't have a strong connection with that person at the moment, but you know eventually you could. It removes all the blame from other people, and you're never a victim, because we honestly aren't victims. When we become victims, we lose control. And then yet we think we're in control and we're clenching onto things, but then no, we're in that cage again, and we were never meant to be in a cage. And every encounter then truly does what Tony Robbins says: it happens for you, not to you. So knowing your why helps you even recognize when your current relationships aren't aligning. It helps you, it guides you, it lights that path that's already paved for you. You serve and you love and you grow and you give. And those unhealthy exchanges of energy, you recognize them right away, which leads me into the third habit, which will be in part 2. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe. I am so looking forward to having a community of warriors of the mind, soul, body, spirit.